Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Morning this morning, and welcome to Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, your station for fresh news, smart talk all day. I stumbled just now because I was about to tell you no yawning this morning because the politicians are up from early, lining themselves up, getting ready to go to nomination day. And the only reason I know that because today is Culture Friday. We really ain't paying attention to no politics today. The only reason I know that is because I get stuck in a motorcade this morning. I can talk to y'all more about that on Monday. But I want to say this one thing to my FNM brothers and sisters who's on the motorcade this morning. Listen, I hear the song you was playing about free the weed, free the weed. Listen, you speaking to the wrong people. I just want y'all to think seriously about how you present yourself in the public space. Just think seriously about it. Because in that 5 minutes I was stuck on that roundabout, I wrote a whole dissertation about why I spoiling my ballot this go round. That's all the time I needed. So I want y'all to really think seriously about the music and the choices that you're making at every step. First of all, as a I-45, I could tell you, I grew up in that era, and in that area, it's irresponsible to be playing that type of music in an event like that. It's just irresponsible, but most of all, it shows that y'all ain't thinking about anything in your campaign, okay? And we're gonna leave it right there. And imagine, all of y'all on the road motorcading and campaigning and ain't nobody have cup or baggie. How you think you could win an election without giving away cup and baggie? Ain't nobody want no thing fold up inside their t-shirt and flag. They want cup and baggie. It hot out there. BPL struggling. Give the people what they need on this hot summer 2021. Cup and baggie. In fact, I'm going to tell you this. A vote for Erin Greene is a vote for cup and baggie. Consider it seriously. Anyway, good morning. Good morning. It is Friday, the 27th of August, 2021, and welcome to On the Clock with Erin Greene. On the Clock, we engage organizations, institutions, social and cultural leaders, and ordinary people to better the impact of public policy, private sector development, and emerging social and consumer trends. On the Clock, we have conversations that help us understand and navigate a rapidly changing Bahamas. Today's show is brought to you by the Department of Inland Revenue. And don't forget, today is Culture Fridays. So we start the show with a brief message about the Real Property Tax Forgiveness Program. Remember, you can save on your real property tax. You can take advantage of waivers on your real property tax in one of two ways. One, you can bring your account to zero. Two, you can get a payment plan. This offer ends August 31st, 2021. It's just around the corner. For further information, email rptforgive@bahamas.gov.bs or call 242-225-5778. And that is a toll-free number. This message is brought to you by the Department of Revenue. Good morning. My first guests today are representatives from the Bahamas Institute of Financial Services, Mrs. Kim Bodie and Mr. Miguel Pratt. And, well, they don't know that I was secretly trying to get them on the show so they could show me how I could turn my baggie and cup enterprise into an empire, right? All y'all focus on dollars. I focus on sea grape and GNEP. That's where the real value is. But I figure maybe I should get some experts at the table to give me a real sense of what it will take to make sense of the resources I have. Good morning, Mrs. Bodie.
Good morning to you, Erin, and it's just wonderful to be here. Thank you for hosting us this morning. I just want to let the public know that you promised you were going to go into the politics.
No, that was just...
But we understand. Right. So I want my students out there and the general public to know that we're here to provide some pertinent, important information, because she talked about nation building and development, and that is what we are all about at the Institute, developing the young people of our nation for the workforce. And now I'm sure she's going to bring on my counterpart with me.
Good morning, Mr. Pratt.
Good morning, Ms. Greene. So lovely to be here. I want to thank you so much. Yes, we did plan to have this talk radio show for quite some time, so I'm glad to be here.
Yeah.
What I want to do is turn it back over to my executive director. Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, before y'all get going, I don't know if people realize that the Institute is a not-for-profit institution established in 1974 to support the Bahamas' financial services industry development. The idea of Mr. Basil Donaldson, the first Governor General of the Central Bank of the Bahamas, to ensure that professional standards are met within the financial services organization. And what I found interesting on the website was this statement here: we have earned a strong international reputation for our comprehensive suite of high-quality, industry-relevant, and cutting-edge training and education programs. Yes. And so I knew about the Institute, but I didn't understand the scope and the capacity of the Institute, nor did I really get a sense of the work that you guys have been doing over the last couple of decades. Yeah. So so while I talk about, I'm serious about cup and baggie. In fact, I feel like if we're going to sell cup and baggie in this country, that it should be rooted in a local industry, and we should be selling GNEP cup and baggie. But I understand that requires people understanding how business works and how the financial services work to make a pursuit like that sustainable. Yeah, and so that's why I use my little cup and baggie thing this morning. Plus, it's hot. I don't think people have realized how hot it is. Every day I want to find a way to remind people to take care of themselves.
Right. And I like baggies and cup.
Yeah.
Because when we were growing up off Wolf Road, we used to buy cup every day, or our parents would make cups for us.
Right. And I watch how small, like how homes or families could take something as small as selling cup and baggie and grow that into a small business.
A business,
right.
Exactly. But let's talk about the Institute. You mentioned that we were established by the first governor of the central bank, Mr. T. Basil Donaldson.
Yes.
And the Institute was established at a very historical period in our country, because at that time, the central bank was fully established. The College of the Bahamas, now UB, was established. And we were established at the same time. And it was Mr. Donaldson's idea when he came back from the IMF, and he examined the landscape of the financial services sector, which was called banking then,
right.
that very few Bahamians had paper qualifications. Okay? They might have been working in the industry, but they had no paper.
Yeah.
And so it was his vision to increase, the qualifications level of our young people.
Absolutely.
Hence, some 40-odd years later, we have hundreds of well-qualified professionals in the financial services sector operating at all levels, and some are even in the international space, working and many as a result of coming through the program offered by the Bahamas Institute of Bankers then.
Right.
But I'll tell you a little later that our name changed.
Okay.
As the industry evolved.
All right.
And that is what is happening right now. The
Absolutely.
industry continues to evolve.
Absolutely. Just a small note, I think it's important for Bahamians to understand that it's one thing to have a skill set. It's another thing to be certified and be a part of
Exactly.
a structure or an institution that certifies and sets a standard
Sets a standard.
for participation in that industry. And it's like we talk about the bush mechanic and the difference between the bush mechanic and the certified mechanic. Like, yes, you do have a great skill set if you're talented, but you need to be a part of a formal structure, and that will help you to realize the full capacity of that skill set that you have. Absolutely. So tell us what we're doing at the Institute today.
Well, thank you, Erin. I want to expand on what Ms. Bodie said about nation building. You know, financial services is our second industry. Therefore, we want to encourage our young persons to please pursue a career in financial services. Let me give you an example. Last year, when the emergency orders came out, the airport closed down, the hotel closed down, cruise ships stopped coming, store market closed down. Okay, not knocking out tourism industry. That is our bread and butter, correct? But what kept open? Financial services. Okay, we need our banks, we need our real estates, we need our law firms. And if you selling Canap and Cup on the side of the road, you is a financial institution.
Yeah.
Okay? Because you deal with transactions. So it is imperative, critical, that we protect and grow this industry. How do we do that? Education.
Absolutely.
All right? We want to encourage our young persons, please pursue a career in financial services. There is so much you can do.
Very diverse.
Right.
The Bahamas, we created the Smart Fund 002, Smart Fund 007, the Icon Investment Product. That's just to name a few. There are so many things you could do with trust services. You understand?
Wealth management.
Wealth management. Our financial institution kept us afloat so far.
Yeah.
People
Absolutely.
still have jobs in the bank.
And
That's critical
right.
to nation building and our livelihood.
And the industry is even more than just the technical skill set. It is growing an appreciation for the industry. It is ensuring succession by ensuring that you are attracting students and the top students to this training space to grow the industry. It's about making commercials and programming and marketing for this space. So, it's important for young people to understand it, and to create an industry is to provide a wide scope of opportunities.
Correct.
For people to get on board.
You know, Erin, after the financial crisis, the financial services industry is so diverse. I mean, you could pick and choose in that industry where you would like to direct your career path.
Absolutely.
You got insurance, you got lawyers, you got real estate, you have your bankers, just to name a few. So there is a myriad of opportunity to build a very strong career path in the financial services sector, and that is why the Institute, in its offering of courses, expand and open up into these areas. When we were banking, it was just bank.
Yeah.
It's no longer just bank.
right.
Okay? The changes in the legislation and the laws over the years open up opportunity for careers in compliance, and Miguel will keep going on in the trust space, in the funds business. It's a lot in the stock market, and
Absolutely.
and guess what? Even with this pandemic, our professionals are working from home on entrepreneurship. Many of them are so well qualified in the sector that they themselves can open up their own little
Firm or
firm.
institute to teach
exactly.
or to trade. Yeah.
Not only to teach and train, but to offer the services
You're right.
to international clients in the wealth management space, in the trust space.
Absolutely.
Correct,
Okay.
correct. That's what we want to do. We want to make the Bahamas attractive. Investors come here.
Compliance.
We have the qualifications. We have the training. We have the products. We have the services.
And I would say, even if you don't think that you are going to sit in the financial services space, hear what the gentleman said. To build investor confidence, they also have to be certain that the infrastructure necessary to run the industry is sound. So you may be sitting as a tech expert that specializes in maintaining and repairing systems for financial services. You may decide to be a lawyer that sits on the cutting edge, right? And you work on ethics on the cutting edge in financial law and law finance. I imagine the opportunities are just endless. And if you're in a region, you're someone like me that's trying to grow agriculture, then you realize that there is a space for development of products on that cutting edge. So for me, as someone in agriculture, I've been lobbying for the creation of affordable and sustainable insurance products for farmers and investors. Right? So whether it is that we're only going to insure a particular project for a particular time period, but you can get a degree of coverage so that your investor feels comfortable increasing the size of the investment available.
Yes.
Correct. Yeah. As I was saying, that's that insurance product that you were talking about. That comes to financial services education.
Right.
Okay. So you on the right path.
Let me tell you a quick joke. I know Mr. Pratt. And every day Mr. Pratt see me, I was young and playing, and I used to walk a lot. I meant for exercise. You know, Mr. Pratt, so you ain't going to school, eh? So you ain't going to get an education, eh? Right? And I do the same thing now, right? Like I do the same thing. Right? So I push an idea into somebody's head.
Right.
Because at that time, I didn't realize how many opportunities were. I was just like, I tired of what they want to talk about.
Yes.
I didn't realize the opportunity and the scope of opportunities available.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
And Miguel is going to talk about some of the products that we are offering and how we continue to remain on the cutting edge of education and training in the financial services sector. But when you were talking about agriculture and whatnot, I thought about this conference that we went to just a few years ago, short years ago, and they were talking about green economics. Right, Miguel?
Yes, it did.
And how the banks are going to now sit down with people in the agriculture field, in the climate change, and there are lots of entrepreneurial opportunities.
Exactly.
In all of these areas, and that is why to start your education from fundamentals in the financial services industry and looking at all the various areas that you could branch out into, I want to encourage our young school leavers. Yes, there are other industries, but look at financial services. You mentioned something about we try to get the top. We bring our students in at grade 12. In 2008, we instituted a grade 12 program for high school students entering grade 12. We have graduated some 30 some students.
830?
No, not 800.
Oh, sorry.
Please, I made a mistake.
Oh, my bad.
I corrected myself.
That's okay.
100 and about 30 some.
Yeah, 137. Oh,
Almost 40.
That's great.
Yes, but because we could only host at a time, the summer months when school is closed, and we taught them ethics, we taught them business, math.
Yeah.
Okay, we taught them economics, and we taught them about financial institutions.
Absolutely.
Okay, and then we also offered them an internship. Okay.
Yes.
At one of our member organizations. So we are already building the blocks.
Right.
We're all, small bites at a time.
And creating a culture of appreciation.
For
the work that you do. Not just in the service providers, but in the people who would use the service and the wider society that supports the creation and maintenance of these services.
Exactly.
So what are some of the courses that I will be signing up for in the next semester?
Well, one that we want to introduce is an introduction to blockchain. Okay, that's a new technology.
Oh, man,
that's coming
okay.
up. I know the central bank has already initiated their Sand Dollar program.
Yeah.
Okay? We want to go less coinless in the near future. And how does this affect things like financial crime, anti-money laundering, and compliance? it's hoping to project a more safer or more secure environment as regards to money transfers and so forth. For instance, last year, I didn't know nothing about Zoom until the pandemic. All right? But I had to learn quick. Now it's blockchain. Let's get on blockchain. Let's get on these cryptocurrencies. Let's learn what's in store for the future. You know what I mean? We mightn't have the dollars and coins in our pocket.
Right.
We already got rid of the penny.
Right.
Right? You know, it costs money to make money. To print money, I should mean. So let's see how this technology is going to affect us. It's on the cutting edge.
And if you are a business person in New Providence, right, then get on board, get your staff trained so
Correct.
that they are better able to provide services to Family Island residents who have now been transitioned and are in this transition dollar. And so even if you don't, you don't, like you could be like me, I want cash in my hand, but the people that you are making money from don't have the cash, so what you going to do next?
Exactly.
Improve your skills.
Yeah, we got to
Awesome.
get with it. We've got to get it. The world is changing. You
Absolutely.
see? And if we're going to move ahead, we better get on board.
Absolutely. So that's one course is Introduction
Yeah.
to Blockchain.
Actually, yeah, we have a slew of about 19 different courses starting this fall semester. So we encourage the general, please visit our website. Very easy, www.bifs-edu.com. You can Google us, you can Facebook us, click on semester, you'll see all the listing courses. We have from credit collection, HR,
Listen,
employment law.
You have, I need a specified course in collecting credit from old people. Because this is a hard nut to crack.
Well, no, old people just want to get the money.
No, that's it. That's why they don't even give it back to
It shouldn't
you.
be a problem getting the money from her, you know what I mean?
I'll do that to my seniors.
I know, but we have a slew of courses that, as he says, is going to help.
Risk management and all
It's going to help. Well, another one we're going to introduce is securities industry essentials. Okay, so we want to go ahead and launch that one as well. All the details are on the website, folks.
All right.
You know what I mean. I can't read them off all right now, but please go and download the course syllabi. And as I said, we're affordable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're affordable, and we work with we have payment plans, and we work with
Awesome.
Right.
Absolutely. And I think without a doubt, it is an investment worth making.
Yes, it
Whether
is.
it's in yourself, in your children, in your extended family, because you may be building the support team that grows your small home-based business
Right.
into a community empire or a national stakeholder, right?
Right.
The opportunities are just endless. Now, give me one more exciting course. You got to encourage them to go to school. Give me another.
No, we have property management. Property management.
Property management.
We Bahamians, some of us own duplexes, or we manage
Yeah.
other people's properties. Okay, money is involved. A lot of transactions involved. A lot of laws involved. You have the Real Estate Act. There is a lot to learn. That property management course, I believe, starts. It's on Saturday, September 18th. Now, all of our courses are via Zoom. Okay,
Okay.
it's a Zoom. Folks who are not familiar with Zoom, it's a very easy learning platform. It's very powerful. You sit home,
Yeah.
click on your computer, and you're in class. You see, you know what I mean? Very interactive.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't be face to face, but for now, it's very convenient and it's safe and it's.
Yeah, and that's the bottom line. It is
Yeah.
safe,
Yes.
right? It is safe. Man, look here, that's awesome. You talk about, just quickly, we talk about property management and the need for people to understand the whole skill set. It's a profession. And most importantly, because we don't have a culture of maintenance in this town, right? And you can see, and I mean, even in my own experience, my personal experience, I realize how much I'm not focused on maintenance. But when you realize how much value you retain and how much money you save in the long term, paying attention to the pennies, right? Take care of the pennies, and the pounds or the dollars will take care of themselves.
Exactly.
That's an awesome product.
Yes, and you can earn good money, when our students come to our program, they want to know like how much money they're going to earn in the bank. That's one of the first questions they ask, what their salary is going to look like. You could become a business owner in real estate and you could make plenty money. You understand? And the thing it is an open industry right now. Huge.
Yeah.
Okay? And we find that some of our bankers who studied with us and retire, they go into
Absolutely. Right. So
and they earn a living, continue to earn a living
as a retired person.
as a retired person.
Right, so it's a great backup plan
it
as
is
well.
a backup plan.
And as we can see with the pandemic and the state of emergency, like
Right.
Mr. Pratt said earlier, the one thing that never stopped talking was money. Money was talking, it was walking, and it was trading the whole time, right? So it's important for us to learn the skills to be able to walk, to talk, and to trade with that money when we need it.
I just came back from my home, Long Island, and I had to meet with a surveyor on a property that I own there. And, he's talking to us about how real estate is really growing on the family islands because persons are coming back and building a second home to retire there. You understand what I'm saying? We have investors who are looking at our islands, the beauty of our islands, and building second homes,
Right.
retirement homes. So, young people, look at real estate.
Absolutely.
And come and join that course to learn more about it.
Right. Learn about it of the financial services industry.
Exactly.
So that you could understand the full scope of the potential of that space. Guys, I didn't tell you all, but the second segment of my show is about Joseph Spence today.
Wow.
And I'm talking with Orchid Burnside, who has recently received or notification, and I think she has a copy of a newly released compilation of unheard Joseph Spence works.
That's phenomenal.
So I'm going to ask my producer to play one of them tracks as we go to the break. And then when we come back from the break, if you have some time, maybe you sit for a moment, maybe, but I know you're busy, while I explore for a few minutes with Orchid Burnside a bit about this new compilation of works it is called Encore. Let me find it. Encore, Unheard Recordings of Bahamian Guitar and Singing. Wow. Awesome. So to my listening audience,
to me, that's a treat.
yes, ma'am. And then I can talk. You have a treat, and I can talk about the treats you brought in.
Really?
And we're going to introduce your alter ego.
Okay.
So to my listening audience, please stay tuned to Guardian 96.9 FM, your station for fresh news, smart talk, all day, and perhaps you will get to meet the best baker in the Bahamas.
Oh my goodness.
Stay tuned to On the Clock with Erin Greene.
And I want to play your daughter, yeah, yeah, yeah. Honey, be the walk away. I want to play your daughter, yeah, yeah, yeah. Married me while you're waiting.
Throughout our lifetime, we must all make decisions. No matter how we choose, the right one just needs to be made. Like having J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers as your insurance partner. We've been serving the Bahamas for over 100 years. Whether you need home, motor, marine, or commercial insurance, make the right decision. Call 397-2100 or visit jsjohnson.com.
JS Johnson Insurance. Peace of mind.
I've been representing all my life. I'm getting ready to make it count this time. Since it's 2021 for your family line, you better get ready. It's about that time. So tell mama to be ready. Tell it to the whole family. The ones that don't forward to. The count depends on you. So tell Ted to go tell below. Mark it down on your calendar. Since it's 2021, this one's for everyone.
Like what you're hearing on the show? Want to sponsor On the Clock today? Call Janet Lees at 302-2304. That's 302-2304. Be the solution. Sponsor On the Clock with Erin Greene, where she dissects, we discuss, and you decide.
The new Guardian Radio app is here. Listen live to all our Guardian Radio shows and live video stream select programs in our studio. Get information about Guardian Radio shows and our hosts. Send messages, including text, email, and even call. All from our amazing new Guardian Radio app. Download it free today in your App Store for your Apple device or Play Store for your Android device. The all-new and improved Guardian Radio app.
I've been representing all my life. I'm getting ready to make it count this time. Since it's 2021 for your family line, you better get ready. It's about that time. So tell mama to be ready. Tell it to the whole family. Go round the top forward to the new. So tell Ted to go tell below. Mark it down on your calendar. Since it's 2021, this one's for everyone.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Talk a little.
Good morning and welcome back to Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. You are on the clock with Erin, Greene, and my first guest for the day, Mrs. Kimbody and Mr. Pratt, are going to remain in studio with us as we talk about Mr. Joseph Spence with my second guest this morning, Miss Orchid Burnside. Orchid, how are you?
I'm doing well, Erin. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Sorry for the delay. Thank you for allowing me a moment to, build my cup and baggie empire with these guests here. It was a wonderful discussion and sort of a nice segue into Joseph Spence. Please tell the audience who Joseph Spence is and give them a sense of why I'm so excited to talk about him today.
So Joseph Spence was a phenomenal guitarist. He's been followed and studied by so many musicians and guitar players around the world, but a lot of people know him as a night watchman in the Palmdale area. He would play his guitar on the porch. Comforter Empire, she used to sell comforters outside the house, and people would come and listen to Spence play.
Awesome. Wow. When I was in university a couple moons ago, I lived in a big apartment-style building, and one of my roommates, he had a friend come to visit him for the weekend, and the friend ended up telling me that she really came to visit me and him because she is focusing on Joseph Spence in it's like a master's degree program at university, and she was just that excited to meet somebody from the Bahamas. That's how phenomenal Joseph Spence was and is in that sense, and the impact that he's had on music generally, but in particular popular music, pop culture, and contemporary music.
Well, I wouldn't specifically say pop culture. It's more of folk music and people who are really into what's popular, which are two different things.
But
go ahead.
I was just thinking the impact on guitar playing and on music and singing, and how that has grown, how that has impacted the growth of music since then.
Right. Lots of people have tried to play like him. I always sort of compare him to Amos Ferguson, who would say, "Match me if you can." I mean, he was a genius of visual art, and people would say, anybody could paint this, but actually nobody could. Nobody could paint quite like Amos Ferguson. And in the same way, people have studied Joseph Spence and tried to emulate his guitar playing and his style. And people come close, but even someone like a Fred Ferguson, he calls himself a Spence freak. As much as he has been able to sort of replicate the Spence sound, he still feels like he's falling short constantly of this master guitar player.
Absolutely. So I listened to a recent interview you did on another radio station, but on the show Creative Nassau with Fred Ferguson. And one of the things he noted was that because he has no video footage or limited video footage of Spence playing, that it's difficult to sort of mimic and ensure that you are doing exactly what Spence did. Can you give us
I mean, it is, there apparently was one recording of him on ZNS, and I heard it was taped over. That would be the only video of Spence that existed, because I've looked and I've called and I've asked, and I have not heard of any other video that exists of him. But it's not just that you can't see him play to say, "Oh, I'm going to do exactly what he does," because now I can see what he's doing. It's also that every time he played it differently. So he was a master of a style, but that style was highly improvisational. So across albums, you could find the same song over and over, but every time he played it, it was a different riff, or he went off into a whole new world in the song and then came back to that folk song that that you grew up with. So part of emulating Spence is also having that freedom, having that technique to be able to change the song and to still sort of stay in that style.
Absolutely. So how much of Joseph Spence's work is archived, and how and where can we find it?
So there are several of the albums that are still available. They would be, you can actually find them digitally on Amazon and iTunes, those sort of the normal places. But in terms of like actual records or what they would have been originally released on, some of those labels don't even exist anymore. But this particular album, Encore, are additional tracks from what was recorded for the album Spring of '65, when Joseph Spence went to the northeast of the United States, Boston, Philadelphia, New York, to do concerts there. And they recorded the live concert in New York, and then also did some recordings in the place where Spence and Edith were staying. So they released an album in 1965, and then Peter Siegel, who was the producer of that album, had all these additional tracks that he decided or pitched, I guess, to the Smithsonian Folkways Recordings to release a follow-up album of that work. But there are all these other recordings of Joseph Spence that exist in the world, and some of the producers are not alive anymore. I don't know. I couldn't say or speak to where that music lives, if it's still accessible, but it's out there.
All right. So I'm going to have you back on you interned at the institute called the Smithsonian Folkways Recordings.
Yes.
And so I'm going to bring you back on so we could talk a bit about the importance of archiving music and to talk about the Bahamian archive if one exists, right? But I got a couple of quick questions to ask you. And the first one is, of the songs that you sent me just now, which one would you want me to play? Death and...
The Woman.
And The Woman, Run Come See Jerusalem, or The Crow?
I would say play Run Come See because it is a really great example of rhyming, which so few people do anymore. And it tells the story of the boat that sank in the 1929 hurricane in the Fresh Creek Harbor. And Joseph Spence is actually there. And so he's telling that story. And I mean, that's what rhyming is, telling these stories and passing along these stories through song. So it's a really great example of our Bahamian traditional music and expression. So
all right,
I would choose that one, but also get the album and listen to all of the songs.
All right, so and then so now I know which song I'm gonna play. Tell us, how can we find and listen to the album Encore, Unheard Recordings of Bahamian Guitar and Singing?
So you can actually purchase the album from Folkways. Folkways.si.edu is the website. So you can download it digitally or on Amazon and iTunes. And you can order the CD from Folkways, which I know is sort of dead media now. And also the vinyl drop in October. So you can pre-order to get the vinyl later this year.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. If anybody was thinking about buying me a birthday gift, not on my birthday, me and Miss Bodie gonna share that, so you should think about it.
Christmas gift. Christmas coming.
Christmas coming. What an awesome. Now, when I was listening to this interview with you and Fred Ferguson, somebody said something about a Jackson Burnside library. Tell me what this is and where it is and what in it.
So when my father passed away, he used to collect a lot of books, much like Vincent D'Aguilar collected art and would hide it from his wife. My father did the same thing with books. And so we have lots and lots of books on art and architecture. And he and I had a conversation before he died about what he would want to see happen with those. And he said he didn't really know, but it seemed unfair to keep the collection to ourselves. Mm-hmm. And so over the past 10 years, we've been working on cataloging all of the books that he had and then making them accessible to the public. So this year on his 10-year death anniversary, which was in May, we opened the design library at Dungwood Studios. It's upstairs. And we're still doing some cataloging that we have left, but people will be able to come and use all of those books as research material. Dungwood Studio. Mm-hmm.
Listen, I come in to book my library Airbnb. I just want to spend a weekend amongst the books, absorbing them. This is a new
there's
venture.
No shower there, so he's still gonna have to come every day.
I didn't say I was going to bathe. I just going to read. This is a vacation. Oh, wow. Okay, so now while you were at the Smithsonian Folkways Recordings Institute, was there more Bahamian music there? Was it just Joseph Spence? What does the archive look like?
So what they have at the Smithsonian, or the first album that they have was recorded in 1958, which is when Sam and Ann Charters came to Andros following Alan Lomax having come here in the 1930s to do field recordings. And they just stumbled upon Joseph Spence and also Frederick McQueen. And so they released these two albums of Spence and McQueen. And they have a couple other albums that they've accumulated. Then when some of those other record labels closed down, they sort of absorbed those collections. So there are actually quite a number of recordings that they have there. And then, like I said, there are more recordings of Joseph Spence out there from other producers. But again, where they are and who has access to them, I am not sure.
Absolutely. And here I am thinking we need a cultural political revolution where countries can ask for their archival material back. Whether we have to pay for it or trade for it, or like you get 1,000 free days on the beach if you give back our things, something, right?
Well, I mean, it's already happening with visual arts, you know, especially during the pandemic. So many of the sort of museums and institutions like that were called out for, I mean, they stole it. They stole all of this material. Not saying that happened with Joseph Spence, but, you know, colonialism, you have this conversation all the time. People came and took things that are valuable to us and to our cultural identity, and they have kept it. And so we don't have access to things that are technically ours. I mean, so many books, even I was saying on one of the history books that we use here in school, all of the material is owned by museums in England. So it's our history, but it's still owned by England, even though we're quote unquote independent.
Absolutely.
It would be nice if there were other things that I've researched, like Paul Mears. There's apparently a beautiful photograph of him in the basement somewhere in Louisiana. So I've never even seen it with my own eyes, but I know it exists. And it's owned in the U.S. like so many and so much more of our material.
Yeah. Orchid, I'm all out of time, which means that you've won the bonus round and you get to come back next week so we could continue this conversation, because it's fascinating. And I got a text here that said that Joseph Spence taught Jimi Hendrix. He trained Jimi Hendrix on the guitar, apparently. And another
I don't think that that's factually correct, but...
Yeah, I'm wondering... Somebody was tripping. Maybe it's Jimmy. Text him, but maybe Jimmy intended and said, "Look, this is the person who I'm trying to mimic. This is the sound that I'm trying to recreate." And another text here that says Prince was also famous for switching up the way he performed a song. He would perform one song in many different ways. He also played guitar, just one of the many instruments he played. Thank you, texter. So here's what I'm going to do to my producer. Producer, to close out the show, play the Burma Road track, right? And next week I'm going to try to draw a bridge. We're going to replay Good Morning, Mr. Walker, and then I'm going to play for y'all the bridge, the 2020 version of Good Morning, Mr. Walker, because it's important for young people to understand that you are part of this plan. Right? Like you may feel like you separate from the culture and you separate from the people and their ideas, but there's a thread that runs through us from you to me, back to our ancestors, and you're going to hear it in this music. Thank my guest from Bahamas Institute of Financial Services for joining me today and sharing such valuable and important information for nation building. Thank you, Orchid, for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you to my producer for his patience, and thank you to my audience. You guys, listen, it's politics time. Enjoy yourself. Stay calm. Be responsible. Buy plenty cup and baggie. Tell your mommy ain't no space in the freezer for vegetables. You need cup and baggie. And have a great weekend.
Bullfrog dressed in so dark clothes went to the river for to shoot some crow. Crow smell of powder and he'll fly away. Oh, for the